Here's some of the stuff that we have at Hammerfab.com. We make 3D printed line clamps. So if you guys want to do some stainless fuel lines, or we don't have brake line ones yet, but we're working on coming out with those. But we've got 3/8 and 1/2 inch stainless line clamps. They're 3D printed. They're really rigid. You know, sometimes you say 3D printed and people think that they're not legit or strong enough or whatever. But just to give you an example, you know, we're making hammers out of 3D printed stuff. You know, it's really strong. That's what all of our backer pads and gapper pads are made out of, same material. We've also got a wide selection of dimple dies. Now, our dimple dies are really more geared towards making a detail around a fastener. So if you're tired of looking at your plain old engine bay with just bolts on top of the sheet metal, well, that's where we come in. We help you with that. So we've got flat recessed dimple dies that just make a flat depression going straight down. If you want your Rivnuts to maintain flushness with the top of your panel, we've got Rivnut recessed dimple dies. We've got our ever popular Crater Maker dimple dies, which is right here. That's what this set is. Comes with a Pelican case in all 4 sizes from number 10 all the way up to 3/8. They're really nice. All of our dimple dies are CNC machined in the USA from 4140 heat treated steel. We also have a couple of bead roller dies. If you guys have a bead roller that has 3/4 inch shank with normally 1 inch thick dies, our dies will work with your machine. Now the ones that we offer right now that are the most popular for us at least are the tipping dies. So that would be this combination right here. We have a lower flat die and an upper crisp tipping die. Now what that allows you to do is tip or bend flanges on curved edges. So you can make curved flanges with relative ease. You can also just buy the lower die as a blank, and if you have access to a lathe, you can machine these down and turn them into whatever you want. So we sell them as blanks. Now they're still 4140 heat treated steel, but the bead roller dies are not quite as hard as the dimple dies. So they're made out of pre-hard 4140 instead of post-hard 4140. Another product we have is our assembly hammers. This is our short guy. This is an 8-inch handle. We also have a 12-inch version, which I don't have with me right now, but the 12-inch one has an aluminum handle. The 8-inch has a brass handle. Now this little guy is perfect for getting in tight spots during final assembly. That's what it's kind of designed for, is final assembly on stainless hardware that's polished, or chrome, or glass. If you need to persuade some glass, I wouldn't recommend hitting the glass too hard. But anyways, this is for delicate stuff that just needs a little bit of a tap without hurting it. You guys heard of our Crater Makers? That's these guys right here. That's our most common dimple die, or our most popular dimple die, I guess. That's the one that started it all with us. Called it the Crater Maker because it makes a dimple that looks like a crater. It's as simple as that. Anyways, it's pretty cool looking. Now the Crater Makers are designed for flat bottom fasteners, such as a button head or a flat socket, but you can also use them with a flat head countersunk fastener. ARP bolts fit in here really good as well. So anyways, this is our 4 sizes, number 10 all the way up to 3/8, and this is all the dies right here. In case you don't have them already, you can get these at Hammerfab.com. Now, what we've recently added to our dimple die selection is also our Crater Maker washers. So if you've got an engine bay and you're stamping some sheet metal with some Crater Maker dimple dies, but you need a certain situation where this won't work, or you can't get access to this to stamp it, or you can't take it off the car to stamp it, but you want that same look, that's where the Crater Maker washers come in perfect, because they match the dimple dies for a cohesive theme, but they're a bolt-on part. Now, another special feature about the Crater Maker washers is the outer edge of the washer is designed to not touch your paint. Okay, so the center part where the bolt is the only part that contacts the paint, and that way it prevents from tearing your paint. Like on a final assembly situation, you don't have to worry about twisting it too hard and ripping your paint job. Our Crater Maker washers are available in raw, polished, and Cerakoted black finishes. You can get the optional fasteners with them if you want to, in either raw stainless or black stainless. The only fasteners that we offer them with right now are button heads, but if you want to swap them out to ARP bolts or something else, that's up to you. Some of our other products that we offer are quick lugs. That's these guys right here. These are great for attaching panels in your engine bay. I've had guys use them for attaching fender skirts on like a Cadillac or something. If you use about 6 or 8 of these, they hold on a fender skirt really nice. They're vibration dampening and noise canceling, so they don't squeak, they don't vibrate, they don't fall off. Now what's a quick lug? Well, quick lug is a CNC machine Delrin lug that threads on to whatever. In this case, this is a CNC machine aluminum bung that you can weld into something like your valve cover or your intake manifold or whatever that's aluminum. You can weld that in there, and then you thread this on, and now you put your grommet on your sheet metal panel, and then it pops right on. And then if you want to rip that panel off, you just take it off like that. Okay? So now you say, why is it orange? I don't want orange ones. Well, you don't have to get orange ones. The orange is a high temp silicone that only comes in orange. So if you want high temp, you have to get orange. Otherwise, we have black. Now the black ones are available in 2 different thicknesses for different thicknesses of panels. The thick ones work up to 1/8 inch material. The thin ones work down to 16 gauge. So we have thicker ones that have 1/4 threads, and the thinner ones have 1032 threads. Same lug on top though. I've also had guys use them for interior panels. They make a really good latch for like a console lid, and I've even got them holding on my glove box on my 58 Apache. Another new product we've got that most people don't know about yet is our strip tabs. So strip tabs are laser cut pieces of 16 gauge steel that you can bend, curve, shrink, stretch to whatever shape you want. You can even weld them to the edge of a panel if you want this on the edge of your panel. And it gives it a nice, neat, custom look with evenly spaced holes. Now we've got them with different hole sizes. This one has 1/8 inch holes, and they're 2.5 inches apart. We plan on offering different spacings here in the near future. You can install Rivnuts in these if you want. The 1/8 inch ones come pre-drilled, or pre-cut for like a Cleco. So that's the perfect size for Clecoing your panel on. We've also got an angular version. So this is our round version. So just kind of depends on what you want, but we're gonna be showing you guys here real soon how to utilize these in a step-by-step video on our 66 GMC. So you can get these at hammerfab.com. This is our raised recess dimple die kit. It comes with 5 dies, number 8, 10, quarter, 5/16, and 3/8. Now what's the difference between that and a crater maker's, you might ask? That's a good question. So the raised recess ones have a countersunk bottom in them, as opposed to the crater makers have a flat bottom in them. So these do not work well with button heads, ARP bolts, and so on. These work the best with countersunk fasteners. So the raised recess dimple dies are more like what you would find on a car from the 20s or 30s. Like a 32 Ford or something like that would have had a dimple die about like this one right here on the front fenders. If you want more of a kind of a nostalgic look, that's the one you want to go with. Now we've also got flush recess dimple dies. Now these can be used for a fastener, or you can use them just for purely aesthetic looks. You know, they kind of look like a little miniature punch flare. And so, but what they do, if you do want to use a fastener, a countersunk fastener, they make the fastener perfectly flush with the top of the panel. So that's a nice thing to have in your arsenal of tools. Now the only downside about these is the bottom. You know, the metal has to dimple somewhere, and in this case it dimples downward. So if you wanted something underneath it, it's going to have clearance for it underneath the panel. Our Rivnut recess dimple dies are specifically for Rivnuts. Now Rivnut is a threaded insert that you can use with our HF D100 hydraulic installation tool, and all it does is it dimples the sheet metal about 30 thousandths of an inch, just enough to make the head of the Rivnut flush with the panel. So if you got a situation where you want to stack the metal, stack another panel on top of it, and you don't want the Rivnut to obstruct it, that's what you need. So what you do is you drill a 1/4 inch hole, you install the dimple die on the HF D100, you pump it just like you would a Rivnut, and the hydraulic tool actually installs the dimple right into the panel. So you don't need a fancy hydraulic press or anything like that. You just need the hand tool and it'll install the Dimple and the Rivnut. So then after you install the Dimple, you come back with a step bit and you drill that hole out to the correct size that you want for your Rivnut, and then you install the Rivnut. We've got more than that. This is just a little bit that we're showing you guys today. So stay tuned and we'll get out some more stuff and show you guys how to use it.